in Hell No, We Won't Go news, submitted by the best a man can get. Thousands of protesters marched to Hong Kong to oppose legislation that would allow people to be extradited to mainland China.
I don't know what's going on.
Crazy.
And we just turned to the Asian guy.
Yeah, where everyone's like, do you know anything?
I know everything about it.
Tell us.
Literally everything.
Do you want to tell us what you know?
Yeah, so one side is like, I want to do, and the other side is like, don't do that, please, and then that's it.
Oh.
Wait,
Cool.
I
extradited.
feel like we needed subtitles on the set.
Yeah, so pretty much what's happening here is that the Hong Kong government, they have proposed a bill that was first introduced in February of 2019 due to this homicide case that happened, like of this Hong Kong couple in Taiwan. And so pretty much what they're doing, this whole bill thing is that they're trying to extradite criminals from Hong Kong to mainland China. And Hong Kong people are like, fuck no, China is crazy, we don't know, like they always violate like human.
Oh, they're not going to get like due process.
They're not gonna get due process.
So wait, you're saying that, so say some Chinese people who happen to be vacationing or they're in Hong Kong, but extradition has to do with like when you commit a crime.
And you're not part of that country.
Yeah, like if you commit a crime in China,
Yeah.
and then you go to Hong Kong to escape,
That's exactly
then
what
they
we're
want
doing.
It's kind of complicated. So like, there's Chinese people ethnically, but and government-wise, I think there's 4 major ones. So there's China, mainland China. Then you have Macau, Taiwan, and Hong Kong, and they have their own self-governing bodies with their own set of rules that are unique to them that they're used to.
Their own money and everything.
Yeah, and a lot of people that do business or travel, they do have multiple homes in multiple places. They live in different areas. So the Hong Kong couple, I didn't read about that part, but they could possibly just be living in Taiwan even though they're a Hong Kong citizen. Like a lot of people hold multiple passports.
got you.
And then so what everyone's just scared of is they're used to human rights, they're used to a certain level of due process and independence, but now if they pull, it's almost like if, like imagine you're a publican, right? And you live in Texas, and then, but you were born in California, and you understand the laws of Texas, but all of a sudden, when you commit this crime or something happens, they pull you to California to judge you.
Gotcha.
Or even something that's even more lighthearted than that. Like let's say you're used to paying Vegas taxes, and then all of a sudden they pull you into California, you gotta pay California taxes. So it's like immediately like your whole world gets shifted upside down, and like all the rules are changing.
Yeah, and that's so they're trying to make it seem like just for criminals, right? But then people are saying like, well, the way that they're wording this bill, it could be I could literally do nothing and be framed as a criminal, and now all of a sudden I'm being
You gotta
extradited.
be sent to China, and then like then there's gonna be different sort of due process there. Huh?
Yeah, so there have been insane protests
Yeah, I see
happening
that.
in
Wow.
Hong Kong.
Why China? Like, why do they want to take him back to China?
Oh, because China, do you remember back in 1997?
Whoa!
Shit looks like ants.
There was like a whole bunch that came
Looks like a river. So back in 1997, China took Hong Kong back from Britain, and they gave them 50 years, I think it was, to reassimilate back into being part of China and not being part of Britain anymore.
And the 50 years isn't even up yet, so I think that's why people are really, really pissed.
Yeah, exactly.
Do we know when it's up?
Well, what's 50 plus 97 plus 50?
2047 or something.
Yeah, so it's still a long time.
So they're supposed to spend 50 years on the transition.
Isn't this step like a part of the transition? Though?
They consider it really abrupt. To be able to just extradite people, like that's not part of the transition. They want it to slowly happen because I guess what they're like in Hong Kong, there's street signs with like English words on them. So it's a very different world, even though they're all Chinese. So for them, they're feeling like this is fucking crazy that you're just gonna come here, grab us. I'm used to all these civil rights, and now they're all gonna be taken away from me.
Oh yeah.
And China's the one that's coming in and saying, this is the rule we want to impose.
Well, what's crazy is I think the chief of Hong Kong,
Carrie Lam?
Yeah. Is that a he or she? She proposed this.
But why? What's the incentive for them to do that? It's wild.
That,
Get the criminals out of the city. You're the mayor of Hong Kong, and so like somebody's doing something wrong, and your whole thing is like, okay, yeah, send them to China.
But it just gets rid of due process. It doesn't get rid of the criminals.
And the problem is all Chinese people are criminals. So I don't really know.
Here we go.
He said it.
No, so I don't know who to believe. So I don't know who to believe because all Chinese people are criminals. So for example, like it could be a business thing where China is in her ear. Hey, if you pass this thing, and I can get a lot of these business people
that's what
back
you mean.
and pay and get a lot of the tax evasion, I could hook you guys up with this. And then she's
That's what people are saying.
I have a bright idea now.
So I'm like, there's no other, and it's like it seems out of nowhere unless there's some shady.
Yeah, it's like, why would you do that?
Exactly.
Like, why would Texas all of a sudden go Democrat, or why would California all of a sudden go Republican out of nowhere? Like, it's like, why are you doing that? I don't understand.
They're also saying like that China is kind of like picking the people to be part of the Hong Kong government too, so they could be in China's pocket.
So even people in Taiwan and Macau are scared because they're like, if that
They'll
can
be
happen
next.
to them,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen to us.
And by China are criminals, you just mean people are just shady.
No, DNA. In the DNA,
So you're just gonna double down on this, huh?
Are you gonna confess to?
She tried to give you a way out.
Yeah.
Are you gonna confess to your
No. It's
it's inside.
shady blood.
He cuts himself open. You see this right here?
Yeah.
Criminal blood.
He's like, here's your wallet. I didn't mean to. It's in my blood.
Wait, is that my wallet? How did you get my wallet?
But yeah, so these protests that have been happening since March, like that's the first one.
Damn, that's a long time.
Yeah, so like March 31st, April 28th, June 6th, June 9th, June 12th.
And keep in mind, Chinese people love to work. So for them to go on a march like this matters a lot.
I said that's a lot of marching though. At a certain point, is it making a difference?
It is because
Like
they
if you're
did-
marching since
getting-
March.
Well, we're talking about
Yeah,
it.
they're getting the world stage, I guess.
There's like solidarity protests around the world, and they
right.
did say. So on June 16th, that's when they were supposed to make decisions on this bill, but they ended up suspending it.
She got scared, I think.
Yeah, she got.
She was like, oh shit,
Yep.
big trouble.
These protests are also, they have turned violent.
Oh wow.
There has been a suicide, like a protester suicide.
That doesn't help.
Like where they light themselves on fire or something.
That's when you're serious.
Yeah, so like there was this one 35-year-old man who stood on an elevated podium at the rooftop of this building at the shopping mall, and he wore a yellow raincoat with the words "Brutal police are cold-blooded," and then in the back it says "Carrie Lam is killing Hong Kong," and then he put that sign. He put on a sign that said, entirely withdraw China extradition bill. We are not writing. Release students and the injured. Carrie Lam step down. That's what the sign said.
Jeez. And he killed himself?
And then so there were other protesters that were trying to persuade him not to jump, and even firefighters were there trying to rescue them, but he still jumped to his death.
Wow.
And so now that he's being seen as a martyr.
Yeah.
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 So it's getting crazy.
They really don't want China to take over.
Yeah.
Like, but what can, I mean, because America's always getting in other people's business, but like,
As we should.
we can't really do anything. Like, what are we going to do? Go to war with China to save Hong Kong? Or like, what's going to happen?
Well, we're already in a trade war right now. It's
Yeah.
already like, you know,
Well, I mean,
the clothes are about to go, the price of clothes are about to go way up.
As it should, because we are trashing the planet.
true.
Save it for your rant.
Which rant?
her segment.
Her new segment. What is it called again?
Jess is gonna do a new segment where she talks about how shitty the world is in every aspect.
Is it good? No. Is it like? Is it really that good? That
You guys should have just written it down. I come up with these Easter eggs and like.
Coming to you.
Is it really though? That's
Summer 2019. Is it? Really though?
Yeah, that's probably what I said.
You should do that. But here's some more photos.
Is that the one that was doctored? Because one of them was doctored. I remember seeing that on the news.
That's the
shit.
doctored one.
No, one of the photos that went viral, it came out later that they doctored it to, they added way more people into it.
Oh yeah?
But it doesn't matter because
That time lapse looked fucking massive.
Still a lot of people.
there's still a lot of people, but yeah.
Yeah, they're saying
It's
that.
like Trump's inauguration.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of too.
But yeah, so this is a big deal right now happening
Oh, I feel bad.
Look how angry she looks.
right here.
Yeah. What?
Well, the other one.
Does she ever smile?
It's fucking crazy. How do people sleep at night? Like,
looks like a piano teacher.
Yeah.
She's got a Star Trek collar.
But like a stern one. She's like, he has a ruler. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
That's freaking wild though. Imagine the US had to all of a sudden like bend the knee to a different country.
Ooh, somebody just try it. Try it.
Texan came out.
Yeah.
I know.
the states can't even bend the knee to each other.
Yosemite Sam over there is going wild.
They're bending in some things, you know.
They are, man.
Look at abortion.
True. What are your thoughts about that?
Listen.
He's like, I care about my career.
That's a different video. Different video.
That is a heavy topic.
Something else I saw in the news though that was kind of funny, since this is sort of a funny channel, was that
The porn sites?
the porn sites were like shutting down and asking people to join the protests in Hong Kong. They were like,
Yeah.
make yourself
That's how you
useful.
get attention.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope, though.
That is dope.
So that's not right.
Oh, wait, what? I like that.
No, I mean, if I'm in mid-stroke and then all of a sudden,
Yo, stop.
oh, come on.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, they were saying if you are a Hong Kong police officer, relative, or supporter, please leave this site. And then it said, like, you know, attend the life and death protests instead of playing on the internet.
Oh, wow.
Is there like a timeline of when they hope to put a vote in?
Well, that's why it was supposed to happen on June 16th, but then they
But is Hong
suspended
Kong a
it.
democracy?
I think so.
I thought
Or is it like a democracy?
Well, the way that Britain left them, they are. So I don't know how they're transitioning.
Was she like an elected?
Do they get to use all the internet? Like, you know how China has rules on the internet?
I feel like they do.
Yeah,
I feel like they do.
I know Taiwan does.
yeah. So she's the current chief executive of Hong Kong since 2007.
She might get assassinated.
That, like, can you imagine like not being able to get information?
No.
Like, it's so crazy. Like, if that's so crazy to me to think, like, you know, like if we went to visit China, then we went on the internet and it looked like
Blacked out.
it looked like the world
Page
was
not
something-
found.
Yeah, or it just looked like different things were really happening in the world.
Yeah.
I just I mean, like, look at like Korea, man.
North Korea.
Korea's like
North Korea, they think like there's like 8 days, you know.
Well, in some aspect that happens because Google will like not put the actual top search results at the top. Like they'll promote whatever side they want to promote.
Yeah, do we know
That's how
if
they
we
got in
really
trouble
know
for that.
everything?
I know, right?
Do we really know?
Not to say that we know everything, but what I'm saying is,
Do we really have access?
but you could like,
you can go on like a Reddit thread or
Yes,
something like that.
yeah.
Like there's ways for
there's ways to find stuff.
But really?
Do we really know?
The mass majority, the people that won't.
Really?
If you're the mass majority, then no. The answer is no.
So what does it matter if if some few go find out real information, but the mass majority is voting and making?
That's why I don't really care about politics because I don't.
Me neither.
I know so many people in like the special forces community, and the stories they tell me, I'm like, the disconnect between
Yeah.
what's really happening and what we think we know
So
is
vast.
insane.
But look what's happening in even in the country. And there's portions of the country that only get their information from certain news channels
Yeah.
that are swayed a certain way. They don't even
Algorithm.
All of the country is like that, either to the here or here.
crazy. That's why like some of these Democratic candidates, they need to actually go on Fox News and talk to
They're not
the
gonna let
people
'em.
there.
It's controlled.
But they need to try to do that.
And same vice versa.
You know, because
Yeah, same.
to like so more people can get more just see a different side.
That's true, because for JK News, every time I'm trying to see both sides of the story, I'm always like, I feel like I always find a wall. Like, I can't get past a certain side of the story, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? I need a VPN or something.
It's because all of those news channels are owned by the same people, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.